They call it the Asus ZenBook Pro 16X OLED. In this video, let's unbox it. Now, this year's model comes with some new advancements from a component standpoint. So they're promoting this Supernova SOM system on module design. So it's very similar to what Apple has done in the past with their SoC, system on a chip. And I think maybe they patented that or trademarked that system on a chip SoC. And so Asus and Intel had to kind of figure out another way to say it. But basically what it is communicating is the fact that your RAM is now closer to your chipset. The Intel i9 13905H CPU is now closer to the RAM, which means increased RAM speeds. Now, this laptop does come with 32 gigs of RAM, and it also comes with the RTX 4080 with 12 gigs of VRAM. So this thing is a stinking powerhouse, and I'm really looking forward to checking the performance of it and diving more into the system on module chipset that they've produced with Intel. Now, let's see if we can find our charger. Pull this up, I guess. This is like the weirdest box. It's a cool box, but it's a weird box nonetheless. I think the charger's in here. There it is. All right, so we have connectivity for our network adapter. We have a 240 watt charger block, I would guess. 280 watt charger block. A Asus Pen 2.0. Ooh, that reminds me. I just returned last year's model, and I think I forgot to give them back the charger and the pen. Sorry, Asus. I'll promise I'll send it back when I send this one back, okay? All right, anyway, moving on. So we have a few extra components here. It comes with the Asus Pen. It comes with an adapter for your network port, charger cord, and charger block. All right, let's go ahead and slide this in here. And also, usually the models that I receive in the past have had this nice little handy-dandy backpack. I'm not sure if every model is gonna come with this backpack. Definitely read the description of the product listing that you order. But so far, this year's model and last year's model have come with the backpack. All right, let's go ahead and get this thing out of the plastic wrap. Right there, the innovative Asus Supernova SOM design. We'll see how that works. All right. Man, I just can't believe they fit all of that into this package. It's just amazing. Aluminum top cover, bottom cover, side panels, and keyboard deck. Amazing assembly. I mean, Asus is really doing themselves an amazing favor by creating these incredible premium laptops. There are so many companies that are cutting corners and not putting in their best. And right now, Asus and Lenovo, as you guys know, if you've watched my channel, are my two favorite brands at the moment. And if you're not in one of those favorite brands, well then step up your game. Let's do it. Let's get some premium laptops going on here, but amazing. All right, so the ports, we have our power adapter port, USB type A to USB type C's. On the other side, we have an HDMI, headphone jack, and an SD card reader. On the back panel, nothing. All right, let's go ahead and open and close the lid with one hand. See how that works. Super easy to do so. Let's do one-handed one more time. And as you can see, as I open the lid, the keyboard rises off of the keyboard deck. And of course, we have this large glass haptic trackpad. Amazing. I love this on last year's model. It was my favorite trackpad. I was talking to my wife last night. She just got a new MacBook Pro. And I said, fine, name me a Windows laptop with a good trackpad. Because she was using this over here, this Asus ZenBook, which it has an okay trackpad. We were watching a movie last night. And I said, and I was kind of joking. And then I said, you know what, actually, Asus has my favorite Windows trackpad right now, and it's this one right here. It's an incredible one. We also have the Asus dial, which is the same material as the trackpad, so it's not actually spinning, it's just sensing your finger, but the middle button is a click button. So you can really navigate your projects well by changing your brush size, larger, smaller, scroll through your timeline. Very handy. To me, this is the competitor that, Asus is kind of competing against themselves for the Studio Book. I'm still struggling to figure out which one I like better. I'm leaning towards this one because it's a little less clunky than the Studio Book. The Studio Book is amazing, but this is a little bit more of like a refined, thin and light premium workstation. I mean, when you open this laptop, it feels like you're entering into a workstation. The keyboard kind of elevates up towards you. You have a large trackpad that doesn't hinder any of your workflow. In years past, the StudioBook had the click buttons, which I wasn't fond of, great for 3D modeling, but not for video editing, graphic design, photography. The dial is discreetly placed to not get in your way. Large 16-inch OLED display, which the StudioBook has, but this one it's really an immersive experience. So I really dig this laptop. Now, if I had a complaint, it would be that the screen does not go completely flat, but because the screen is a part of the keyboard rising off the keyboard deck, I fully understand. And it actually opens up more than your standard kind of 45-degree angle. So most laptops that don't open up completely usually only open up to about here, like right there. This one actually opens up a good bit farther. So that is a nice little aspect to it. There is a webcam on this laptop, so here's a quick sample of the webcam so you can look and see what that see. So you can hear, so you can look, so you can see and hear what it looks and sounds like. Yeah. This is the webcam on the Asus ZenBook Pro 16X and a little sample of the audio for you as well. Now, if you're curious about the exact pricing and availability of the ZenBook Pro 16X, I'll put links in the description below. If you do make a purchase to those links, I'll get a small commission, but at no extra cost to you. But of course, that's what keeps this channel alive and the helpful content coming your way. I'm really curious thinking about the price of this laptop. Last time I checked, it was like $28.99 roughly. Might be less, might be more. Check the live pricing. But with that in mind, with this new system on module, I'm really curious if this thing will actually outperform the StudioBook this year. I don't know if the StudioBook is getting that same technology. I don't know if they're actually trying to push us towards the ZenBook instead of the StudioBook. But either way, this is looking like a powerhouse of a laptop just from the spec standpoint. And I'm really curious if they're going to allow us to upgrade the RAM this year. There's a lot of stuff I'm curious about as we get into more reviews. But even further through this unboxing, we're going to flip the laptop over and check out the components. Now, I forgot to do the beloved top cover press and tap test. So as you can see there, not a lot of give on the top cover. That's great. For all of you who hate the tap test, I'm going to do it anyway. A little bit of a hollow sound, but really nicely fit onto the chassis. Great aluminum materials used. This thing's looking good. All right, let's go ahead and check out the screen flex really quickly here. Since this is attached to the keyboard, the screen flex actually would make a difference because it would actually end up shaking the keyboard, but watch this. I literally can't even get that to flex. That is incredible. So no screen flex, really strong, rigid top cover. That is really smart because it is attached here at the keyboard. All right, let's go ahead and get jumped into the system here and see what kind of functionality we have in the Asus Command Center. So we do have a mux switch on this device with that RTX 4080. That is great. You can go into hybrid mode or discrete mode. It doesn't look like you can turn off the GPU. That's gonna kill our battery life a little bit. Being able to switch to iGPU mode where you're only running on the Intel integrated graphics is beneficial for battery life. Let's hope that whisper mode and hybrid mode on this device are good enough to allow us to get great battery life. So we will find out how all of that works once we dive into the full review. But there is good customization for both performance modes and you have hybrid/discrete graphics mode. Good, but not necessarily my personal 100% they nailed it score. Now, one thing that does help with the battery is you can actually swap this down to 60 Hertz on the display refresh rate, and that will help you with battery life. If you're looking to optimize your battery life, go from 120 to 60, especially if you're not a gamer. That will help your battery life a lot. All right, so I have the pen out. I'm gonna lean this forward a little bit. Hopefully you can see it a little better. Let's go ahead and grab the pencil tool size. Let's do 4 pixels. So as you can see, we're just here in Microsoft Paint. So you're not getting a really good feel of the quality of the pen as far as its, ability to do thick and thin lines based on the pressure sensitivity. But I will do a full pen test inside of Photoshop during my full review. But I just wanted to kind of show you real quickly. It's very responsive. I go and I tap and it immediately is tapping on the screen. And even as you get close, so as I get close to the screen, it senses where my pen is. So before I even tap, it's already sensing where my pen is about a 1/4 inch away from the screen, half or quarter roughly. That's about a 1/2 inch. Yeah, I can sense it about a ½ inch away from the screen. But yeah, it's very responsive, touch sensitive. However, we will do a full pressure sensitivity test once we are in Photoshop during the full review. All right, without further ado, let's go on ahead and flip over the laptop, get it shut down, and check out the upgrade path on the ZenBook Pro 16X. As I pull the bottom cover off on the ZenBook Pro 16X, you can reveal the 96 watt-hour battery, one M.2 drive available to you, and that is your upgrade path. Now, I talked earlier in this video about the Studio Book. The big advantage of the Studio Book is going to be the flexibility in the upgrade path. You're going to have access to 2 RAM sticks and 2 M.2 drives. The benefit of the ZenBook Pro 16X is that new system on module. I'm hoping to see an increase in performance with the RAM being so tightly integrated. And that explains also the lack of RAM upgrade. If the RAM is so tightly integrated to the CPU, then you wouldn't be able to upgrade it. As soon as you go ahead and make your RAM upgradable, you remove it from that system on module, therefore possibly decreasing the performance of the 32 gigs. So the 32 gigs might be even more powerful than 32 because the RAM has less distance to communicate with the CPU, therefore making it faster. However, lack of an upgrade path, maybe not necessarily a bad thing. We're going to check the full performance benchmarks during the full review, so I hope you subscribe and stick around the channel to check that out. Links in the description if you're ready to make a purchase, and even click or tap the screen here. That full review might be ready by the time you're watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.